You're listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast, the show that helps you build wealth faster, think outside the box, and break out of the herd. Here's your host, Jim Oliver.
Welcome back, Breakaway Wealth. I'm your host, Jim Oliver, and with me today, my co-host, Nick Kosko. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be back in the studio. And, we're going to talk a little bit, I always think of it like complacency. I remember my football coach in, bazillion years ago, he said, complacency is the mother of all defeats. And when you said what we're going to talk about today, that word crept in and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I really talked about that word much. And that's not necessarily the theme here, but it's like a little bit of a sub theme and maybe that'll resonate with others. But why don't you share what is in that brilliant brain of yours about this?
Well, I did this a little bit in one of the live meetings that we do like at noon on Mondays. And I did this a couple weeks ago. And, I kind of just titled it like the hidden cost of being comfortable and how to escape it. Right. And I sometimes think this was born from somebody saying, what do you think was different about you and everybody else that lived in Inglewood? Not everybody, but why most people that kind of start in a scarcity environment, stay in that scarcity environment, or, really there's a line in the song that says where it ends usually depends on where it starts, like talking about your life. Right. And I reject that even though it's a cool song, I reject that premise. And I think that it's because we want comfort. And I think some of the things that are going on in the world right now, it's like, well, we want comfort. We're entitled to this. We want a job, and comfort gets you a job. And then you have this W job that you kind of loathe, and your whole potential is based on somebody else's opinion of you, or several other people's opinion of you. And you end up doing just what you need to do. But it's like, hey, I know I'm going to get that paycheck. Then I'm going to get that paycheck. And it kind of kills that creativity and it kills things. And I think when I answer that, comfort kills dreams and comfort keeps you broke. It's like an invisible fence that's trapping average people who think they're doing okay. Like it traps you, right? Like, hey, I'm fine. Look, I got all this. Kind of like a lion in the zoo. Hey, they feed me every day. I mean, this is comfortable. Well, wouldn't you rather be that lion that's like taken down, or whatever the lions are chasing, gazelles, or they probably can't catch a gazelle, whatever the hell it is in Africa that they're eating.
It's tension, right? Tension. When we have tension in our lives, you always say this, adversity introduces the man to himself, right?
Yeah.
And I know you're the second person to say that, right?
Yeah.
But when we have tension, when we have crisis, we learn, right? We grow. And hey, you know what? There is another way to go. You could die.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's really, you're growing or you're dying. And I think like what you say is like, if I just sat in the cockpit for my career and then came home and on my days off took care of the lawn, and like most airline pilots have the best damn lawn in the neighborhood, nice lawn, nice handicap, like I just don't know what I would have learned about myself. I don't think like it was a comfortable thing.
Yeah.
Right. God, I mean, did I want to get out? Yes, but I didn't know how to do that. God introduced a situation to me that it forced my hand. So I had to go, well, I'm not comfortable now. Now I have to learn something different. I had to learn a lot about myself, and that's created these different choices in my life. And we go through these. And I think if anybody listening to this is really honest with themselves, they can look back and say, hey, wait a second. When I learned X, it was preceded by something really uncomfortable. Has that been your experience?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Nick, while you were saying that and I was thinking about answering this question is, I think a blessing in my life is that I never had that comfort. Like, growing up and just the way that I grew up, and I never had that mom and dad where it was like comfortable, like, hey, they're taking care of me, so this is just comfortable. We're living in this nice house and all this stuff. I never had that. So I never actually got used to comfort, or it never became something that was a habit or something that I desired, because I never had it. So I wasn't forced out of being comfortable, which is what most people have to do to themselves. I just never had it. So to be uncomfortable is normal for me. And the moment that you get comfortable, like you hit that first milestone. When I was when I was starting off in my business, like $100,000 a year was like this milestone. And I was like, I'm going to do that my first year in business. And I got really close. I got like $96,000. I was mad. I counted it as 100 in my head eventually, but the first week or two I was mad. And then I just counted it as it was close enough, because when you're a solid 1.2, 1.3 student, getting 96% of the goal, that was a lot more than I was used to. I like thought, but then I realized that kind of being comfortable with that for like a year or two was actually more dangerous than being broke. Because that scarcity will starve you. And when you're starving, you're what? Hungry, right? But comfort will sedate you. And that's dangerous.
Yeah, that lull, the hypnotic lull, it's like, being in the airplane and you get complacent and, you fly for thousands of hours and nothing bad's happened. And then you're like, hey, I might wear my seatbelt a little looser. I'm sitting back in the seat more. My hands really aren't ready to touch the things that I really need to be able to reach with my eyes closed, right? And if this cockpit fills up with smoke, well, guess what? That can all change in a heartbeat, and that'll kill you, right? And obviously that's an extreme example, but those things happen in our real lives too. Do we get complacent driving down the road, and now we're text messaging and reading emails while we're driving down the road? Next thing you know, you drift over and on the highway and you clip a semi.
Yeah.
Right?
Like it takes one time, right?
It takes one time.
So like, I think comfort tricks you. I think it's like, and look, Nick, you and I both believe that there's an enemy out there that's constantly, like the Bible says, what's the word they use? Like a lion stalking us like a lion, right? Yeah. And I think that comfort is part of this. And if you listen to Outwitting the Devil, he talks about this, but comfort tricks you because it gives you the illusion of success. And let's say you have the salary, you have the house, you're going on the right vacations, right? And that's your year. You got the right salary, you got your right house, you got your home, you got your 2.5 kids, you vacationing in Hawaii or Mexico, wherever it is. And it sedates your ambition because you think, I'm really comfortable. I got a comfortable life. And when I'm watching TV, these other people in these other countries, people in our country, I'm very grateful that I have all this comfort, and it like kills your urgency. It makes you forget your edge, like how you got comfortable, right? Like you had to work at getting comfortable. It didn't just probably happen for most people. But when you're comfortable, you don't build, you coast, you manage, and you're managing your life. You hope, but builders don't coast, creators don't coast, and creators don't compete. Builders and creators, they build the game bigger, right?
Yeah, like you and I both obviously are golf fans. What'd Tiger do after he went on a major tear early in his career? He rebuilt his swing.
Yeah.
Well, okay. He was like, hey, how do I go a whole nother level? Now, hey, listen, it's controversial what he did, but he took a risk, right? Like comfortable people, when you get too comfortable, then you become absolutely risk averse and you miss a world rich of opportunity and abundance because we sink into this little bitty narrow world of comfort, right? And Tiger took a risk. And listen, again, it's controversial what the results are of that. He's taken a lot of flack for doing that. But I I resonate with it because he didn't want to be there at 80 years old looking back at his career and saying, boy, I wish I would have taken that risk.
Yeah.
He said, wait a second. I've sought good counsel. I feel like I can do this.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And I think there's so much more than what we perceive as just checking these boxes throughout our day. This rote good little industrial slave. And it doesn't mean that you're a W-2 little industrial slave. It's a slave to the little culture that you've made.
Yeah.
And I would challenge anyone to just stress test where they are right now. What is the thing that makes you uncomfortable? Is it, hey, you've never worked out and you need to do 10 push-ups? Like, I would tell you that, and I've shared this a little bit before, but one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever done is get on the mats doing jujitsu the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I've endured a major injury, not really because of jujitsu, but it just happened there. And there's nothing more uncomfortable than a grown adult male rolling around face to face, hot and sweaty, and essentially your pajamas with another grown adult male. Very uncomfortable. When people are bigger than you and they're much more talented at it and they're just smashing you all the time. And I think about it when I'm being smashed, what are you, 212 today?
212.
All right. So, and a guy like yourself that has 4 or 5 plus years of experience doing jujitsu, you can make yourself feel 300 pounds on my chest.
Right.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
And every time it's going on, I think God's trying to show me something here in this uncomfortable spot. Like, don't be comfortable right here. You just when you think you got this figured out, here along comes a guy with way more experience and smashes you. And that it's metaphorical to the rest of life outside that gym. Where are the ways that I can stress test? Where can I challenge my kids? Where can I challenge my wife to be uncomfortable so that we can learn and learn about our boundaries? I know that, we both had stars in our eyes about being a Navy SEAL one day, long time ago.
Yeah.
What goes on in SEAL training there around this subject?
Yeah. I mean, they spend weeks making you uncomfortable so that you can be okay with being uncomfortable. They put you in the water when it's, I don't know what the degree,
55 degrees. And it sucks, right?
And they're there for hours. And they say, I think they say, Nick, that's the place that people, what they call it when they ring the bell, right? What's it called? I can't remember, but
DNR.
They basically quit. DOR, right? Is they quit most is then, right? And it's the psychological thing because that we have this need for comfort. But the brutal truth is comfort is like compounding like anything else. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit every day. And then all of a sudden, those little compounding things become years of freedom lost and lost exponential growth and lost ownership of your direction. And, it costs you compound wealth because if you constantly become a little bit more of an owner, like maybe like an owner shift, Nick, it costs you that control. And one day you wake up and you realize, I worked 40 years for someone else's dream, for somebody else's freedom. And I don't know how you recover from that because I can live with a lot of things, but taking a deep breath, with God's grace, I don't want to regret a lot of things.
Yeah. I know we're getting close to our time, but is there more you want to expand on this at all? Like a challenge that you would give to our audience?
Yeah, I want to give everybody like a playbook on how to get out of that comfort zone. So let's just burn through that in our few minutes, okay?
All right, cool.
So discomfort is the compass. If it scares you, that's where you go. High performers chase tension. They don't avoid it. They leverage it. I don't care what you think of Trump, but this whole tariff thing right now, that's a perfect example, right? He's chasing something that everybody agrees if he pulls this off, it's going to be like amazing, right? But everybody wants the people that are comfortable, that's not very comfortable for them, and they want to kill it. Okay, so that's one thing. I'll get off the political thing. The next thing is so that's the first step. The first step is make discomfort your compass. Okay, that's where you're going. You're going to be more and more and more just uncomfortable. The other thing is kill that employee mindset. Business owners, same thing. If you're self-employed, you still have that thing. If you're get in your head that you do not have to, for the rest of your life, trade money or time for money.
Okay.
Right? I mean, somewhere along the line, can we agree that you're going to be able to have your assets pay for your ideal lifestyle?
Yeah.
If you say no, then we got to go back to the beginning. We got to get you to believe in yourself. Third thing is get obsessed with ownership. Okay. Use our freedom formula, which is other people's money, other people's time equals real freedom, real wealth. And you know what? That means in that system, infinite banking is the chassis, asset acquisition is the engine. So it's the chassis and the engine. We need them both together. Okay. The last thing is, I love this part. It's like, look in the mirror, audit your comfort zones every week, every day. Where am I being too safe? What am I tolerating? What decisions am I avoiding? Do you ever do that? Because I'll tell you what, I do it every week. And I'm like, I could get negative because I could think, okay, you still got a stack of mail that you didn't go through. You got 3 different things to return that you bought that you didn't work out, whatever, right? Make that hard move. Like that's where growth is hiding, growth is hiding in the discomfort. So you can keep chasing comfort because that's what we were told to do, or you can chase freedom, but you cannot do both. It's just like being angry and being grateful. You cannot do both. Comfort gives you a job and ownership gives you power. It gives you the power and freedom to do whatever you do. And the game isn't about working harder. It's about building something so powerful that you don't have to play the game anymore. You own the game. Okay, I'll shut up.
You know, your first one there, I've been following a guy who's just been talking about relationships and improving relationships. And I love how he says it. He goes, you got to go right into the buzzsaw.
Yeah.
And I love the compass of all of that. You're exactly right. Like if I write down the things that are the dumpster fires in my life, I hate it. But that's exactly what I got to go work on. Right. Like, oh, wait a second. I really don't like, we'll talk about golf again, but I really don't like chipping, which is obviously not what I don't like, but
yeah,
it is. But okay, I got to go work on that. You know, people go, let me go do the thing that I'm really good at all the time so I can pat myself on the back and I can look in the mirror and I can tell everybody how great I am. Well, that's not, you're not doing anything for yourself other than feeding your ego. Like, hey, put your ego aside. God favors the humble, right? So if I can take the thing that I really suck at, and it doesn't mean I have to be an expert at it, right? But I go and I face it and I humble myself to the situation and I can endure the pain, the buzzsaw. Now we're getting somewhere. Now I can look and feel like I can look God at the end of the day and say, I did my best today. Not, hey, look at me and look how freaking great I am, because that's a lie that we tell ourselves. There's nothing good comes from that.
So, you know what? I love that you took this to golf, and you're right. Your chipping would not be an area that you would say, I can't do that, because your chipping is good, really good. Here's one thing I see. Okay. And, I'm always obsessed with golf. I think you know that for sure. And I'm always trying to find that little edge, like a little something different in my swing. And God knows is my witness that equipment, I think golf guys, I don't know, they might go out of business if I, which is our local shop here, they might go out of business if I stop golfing. But so
I know why you want to buy the local shop here. So that way you can get everything it costs, right?
Exactly. I would love to buy that. It would only make things worse, and I would be stealing the peas probably. But I'm kidding, Nelson. I would never do that. But so my driver speed 2 months ago was like 103, right? And with my spin, everything else, I'm hitting the ball X far. And then I play golf with some kid, and he's like 28 years old, and he's like 140 pounds, and he's swinging at 115.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I can do that. And like, I go to a teacher and they say, well, no, you're 59, your hips don't move like that and this and this. And I was like, no, that's BS. I can do it. So now I'm on a quest to get to 115. Okay. It's kind of like the abs thing. So I'm at 107, 108 now. And it's getting faster, right? It's getting faster. I know how to do it. I mean, I don't know how to do it yet, but I will figure out how to do it. So then that creates its own problem.
Yeah.
Because the shaft isn't right. So here's that mentality. I'm totally uncomfortable. Ball might go 100 yards into the mangrove sometimes, right? Or it might go 300 yards straight down the middle of the fairway and people go, wow, holy crap, how'd you do that? Or I could do this. You know, you're 59 years old. You shouldn't be playing the 1 tees or the tips. Let's move you up to the 4 tees. Right. And now, you know what? Let's get you a flexible shaft. You don't have to work that hard. You know, just like, let's just kind of cruise into death. That's comfort. Me, I'm going the other way. I believe that I can get stronger in the next 10 years than I am right now. Yep. I believe I can get leaner, stronger. I know I can get smarter. And so that's discomfort. It's saying, you know, hey, can a 70-year-old man have abs? Yeah, I think an 80-year-old man can have abs. Right. And so,
amen.
Let's all get uncomfortable. And I know I could rattle on for days. So you keep us.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. And I think everybody's got a great takeaway here. And the challenge is, you know, journal this. Hey, be honest. Have the courage to be honest with where you are in your life. I tell you what, the older I've gotten and the more, you know, you mentor people, I mentor people. We're active in our Christian communities, our friend circles. It is not common to get medievally honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Right. It hurts. Yeah. It hurt. Like, it's really hard to go face something outward when you can't even do it inward.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where you need to start, is journal where you are, identify the things you love, the things you don't love, the areas of improvement. Maybe that's your task for the next 30 minutes or sometime early in the morning with your coffee or late at night, whatever your jam is. But start there and have the courage to take some action on one little step that you're uncomfortable with.
So, you know, one thing that somebody told me a long time ago, and it was something that went to physical fitness, right? Is you're right. We lie to ourselves and we manipulate our belief, right? So like, let's take something this guy told me one time. He said, if you think you're in great shape, right? I was in my early 20s, pretty muscular. And he goes, if you think you're in great shape, do this. This is back when we had, like, you'd go to the grocery store and you'd have paper bags, right? You know, like, it wasn't, now you don't have bags, but now, you know, you can't, they charge you if you don't have a bag. But back then it was paper sacks, you know, or bags, right? And he said, cut 2 eye holes, put it over your head, get in your bathroom, get naked and look in the mirror, right? Because you can't look at yourself and smile and say, you know, you're pretty good looking. You're kind of charming, you know, like you just look at your body like, hey, let's really analyze this person without a face. And, you know, you think it's a silly thing, but you do it and you're like, gosh, well, you know what? I need to eat better. I need to exercise more. I need to lift more or whatever. You start to see it that way because you're not manipulating. You're looking at the facts. It's like the scale, right? You get on the scale. If you're 215, you think, wait a minute, I was 211 3 days ago. What did I? Oh yeah, I was eating like this, and this, right? Or I wasn't bringing in enough water, and I'm actually dehydrated. And people don't understand that you're weighing more because you're dehydrated.
Right.
But, yeah. So I love that call to action, Nick. And yeah. So anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap this up the way we wrap up every show. So thank you, Nick, for being here. And sharing. And we're going to listen to the incredible words of Earl Nightingale and the strangest secret. So take it away, Earl.
Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about.
Thanks for listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this show wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If you want to start increasing your wealth building ability right now, go to community.createtailwind.com to join our free online community and get access to free, in-depth training designed to help you build real, lasting wealth. See you next week.